Welcome to Lesson 2.2, the Moon Cycle as a Whole. In this lesson, we will explore the 4 foundational phases of the lunar cycle that happen roughly as 7 days per week in slightly over 4 weeks. We will take a look at how the plant cycle is synonymous with women's fertility cycles and how both are coordinated by the moon's energetic pull. Then we'll wrap up this lesson with a look at how we can tap into lunar cycles to empower our personal growth, live our life purpose, and bring our dreams and goals into reality. Let's start with the 4 foundational phases of the lunar cycle. But before we begin, there may be some of you wondering, why did we not include all 8 phases of the lunar cycle? Well, our goal is to introduce living a lunar lifestyle in the most simple yet powerful way. With learning the 4 phases, we can teach you more easily how to connect and adopt a lunar lifestyle. But don't worry, we are including the other 4 phases in an upcoming course. The moon has been familiar to us over the ages, as it is the second brightest object in the sky after the sun. You may have very early memories of the moon when you were young. You may have been read to with Goodnight Moon to help you fall asleep, and Cat Stevens may have lullabied you with being followed by a moon shadow. A complete lunar cycle lasts 29 and a half days, which seems like an odd number, and some of you may be wondering why it is not easier like 28 days. I wondered that too, as nature really likes to express herself in numbers, patterns, and symmetry. Here's an explanation. If we were on the moon, one lunar cycle would indeed be 28 days. 7 days, a week times 4 weeks. But as the moon orbits around the Earth, completing its cycle in 28 days, the angle between the Earth and the moon and the sun changes. So what happens is we see the lunar cycle as 29 and a half days or 709 hours because of that angle. Since the Earth is on a wobble, we experience the moon's lunar cycle slightly longer. So to be totally in tune with aligning with the moon's phases and vibrations, we have to add in that extra day and a half. Each of the 4 phases lasts approximately 7 days, and each cycle carries its own vibration and energy attuned to the zodiac cycle. The 4 foundational phases are the new moon, waxing or growing first quarter moon, full moon, and waning or decreasing third quarter moon. Each lunar cycle begins with the new moon and ends with the waning third quarter moon, dissolving into the next new moon lunar cycle. Here's a brief introduction to each phase to warm you up before diving deeper into the following lessons. The new moon phase is when the moon is completely dark. Some may have heard of the term dark moon. That is the new moon time. New moons are the best time to plant and create new intentions, goals, and begin working on a long-term dream. This is quiet time, and how to harmonically tune in is found in your stillness. The next foundational phase following the new moon is the waxing first quarter moon. This is where the energy really starts to build. Waxing means building or growing. First quarter means that when we meet with resistance, we are given more energy in which to push through blocks, stuck patterns, indecisions, and/or fears. The next foundational phase following the waxing first quarter moon is the brightest time of the cycle, the full moon. Not only are our emotions heightened, but also our biophysical responses are turned on. Hormones respond to the extra light in the nighttime sky. This is when everything comes into fruition and expands towards fulfillment. Nature definitely celebrates at this time of the month. And finally, the last foundational phase following the bright full moon is the waning third quarter moon. After the moon has experienced its peak of energy, the light begins to fade. Here, we experience energy dissipating and dissolving. This is the time for reflection, slowing down, and turning your emotional self more inward. So you can see that each phase or week has a different energy cycle, feeling, and pattern for action. Aligning your way of living to participate with the available energy resources, you can better manage your own energy output and actually receive more energy than you use. This balancing and harmonizing of energy will make your daily life feel more effortless. And with the extra energy you have left over, you will feel like taking on those long-term projects and goals with gusto because you have more gusto. Let's take a look at other cycles in nature that coincide with the lunar cycle. The lunar cycle is similar to the life cycle of plants and makes you realize how nature operates in full alignment with the moon. The life cycle of plants goes like this. Seeds get planted underground. Seeds germinate. Flowers bloom. Fruits ripen. And plants release seeds and decay and die. Or if they are perennials, then they go into dormancy to rebirth in the spring. Can you already guess which lunar phase goes with which life cycle? You are right. The new moon is the time when seeds are planted underground and germinate. The waxing first quarter moon is when the plant grows and flowers bloom. The full moon is when the flowers produce fruits. And finally, the waxing third quarter moon is when the plant produces seeds for future cycles and dies. That's pretty awesome, right? During each of the upcoming modules on each lunar phase, we will revisit the plant life cycle and go into more depth on its importance and value for us as women. Now, where else do you think the moon's 4 foundational phases mimic other cycles found in nature? Well, we have 4 seasons: spring, summer, fall, and winter. Spring is symmetrical with the new moon phase and in the plant seed life cycle as a time of planting and germination and sprouting. Summer is similar to the waxing first quarter moon that is busy flowering and fruiting. Fall, just like the full moon, when everything is ripe and ready to harvest, bringing much celebration. And then finally, winter is like the waning third quarter moon when things die and decay. I've got one more, and this one might blow your mind. Another cycle that is in perfect symmetry with the lunar cycle is the 24-hour daily cycle. The 24-hour cycle is split into 4 6-hour segments. Here we go. 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. equals the new moon and or springtime. 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. equals waxing first quarter and summertime. 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. equals the full moon and the fall season. And one more, 12 a.m. to 6 a.m. equals the waning third quarter and winter time. That's pretty fascinating, right? You could have a whole lunar cycle in one 24-hour day. Yeah, it's so fun to imagine experiencing a whole year of change, a whole month of energy in one 24-hour day. I just love that. Now you can see the power and benefits of getting more in tune with nature by reconnecting to the moon and living a lunar lifestyle. This one seemingly small step, living in conscious awareness of the lunar cycle, realigns us with the very powerful cycles found in nature. This not only upgrades our physical bodies, but empowers our already powerful feminine energy as women. So give yourself a really big hug. This concludes Lesson 2.2, Getting to Know the Moon Cycle as a Whole. Feel free to revisit and watch this lesson as many times as you like. Start looking around and seeing what stages plants are in. Take note of the current season and look up and see if you can tell what phase the moon is currently in. It's so exciting and nourishing to ground yourself in your inherent feminine rhythm and vibration. Up next in Lesson 2.3, we will remember the moon's natural energy and feel into those parts of us that align so deeply with it. We are excited for you to remember your true nature and your true selves. So see you in the next lesson, Lesson 2.3.